This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. And listen closely, okay? The point was, you were working overtime to deflect from the fact that these 99 doctors had claimed single gunshot wounds to the head and chest every day, sometimes multiple children for over a year.
First of all, working
that
overtime. This is a
pattern,
30-second. First of all, this is a 30-second clip that got taken and blasted when I didn't think fucking anything of it. So now
but you did a follow-up
overtime.
video, and then you talked about it again, and then you talked about it again. The point
When did I talk about the 99 doctors article?
That pattern indicates deliberate shooting of children. Why are you dismissing that these doctors are saying children are being deliberately targeted on a daily basis, deliberately shot? That's what the pattern shows.
I don't know what this 99. I don't know what this 99 doctors article. I don't think I've even read it.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Or if I have, I haven't remembered. Why is it a problem?
Because the 99 doctors letter.
Well, I already acknowledged the New York Times article that did say also there was a pattern of people being shot. Yes, but it's associated
with the New York Times. When you were reading, yes, but when
so
you were reading the New York Times article, what you said was, there's nothing in here that says it was deliberate. There's nothing in this article that says it was deliberate. That's what you said.
I said it was about.
And it's in my video.
It said it was about them sending snipers.
There's nothing in here that says it was deliberate.
Not least of all, did they say that these kids were deliberately picked out and targeted when they were sniped. But that's just an inference that these guys both added and will just believe uncritically.
Okay, but the 99 doctors article, letter, which was put out in conjunction with that article, explicitly states that they found it was the pattern of shooting head and chest every day, sometimes multiple kids for over a year, that had to be, in their opinion, professional opinion, that there was no way for that pattern to be that consistent for that long unless these children were being deliberately shot, and there was no way, it was unknown to the highest Israeli authorities. The way you covered the story was as though it's bad apples, the higher-ups probably don't know, and that there's nothing in the article that says it's deliberate. So if you're telling me you didn't bother reading the article, you were just kind of talking out of your butt, and you were just casually dismissing war crimes and making excuses
this is what I was
Israel,
never held up for, just so you know. I was never held up for the 99 doctors article. I never even said that anything in the New York Times article was wrong. So if you're saying they're connected, then apparently I haven't had an issue with this article. You don't know what my position is.
No, firstly, when you were responding to the post about the article, you made it about something else. You said 2 doctors. It was only 2 doctors, and they were bullshitting.
About snipers, you fucking liar. Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
When you were...
Okay,
if you meant about snipers when you were responding to a post about the article, the letter of 99 doctors, that's a different story. It's kind of incoherent, but that's a different story.
It's not incoherent.
We can talk about your analysis of the New York Times article. You were lacking critical information, but you were speaking boldly and confidently. Okay, you were confidently saying
what, like when I say that when I say that the pagers targeted civilians, like when I said the pagers targeted civilians, even though no one on either side agrees. What? Yeah, okay, sure. I've never gone that far.
Non-combatants. Give me a break. Give me a break. You can listen to it in the Hutch debate, and you can hear me saying it to you. Okay. They're non-combatants. They have civilian protections. Don't go back there. Let's talk about the kids, okay?
Hezbollah admitted they were fighters, just so you know. Okay.
You're desperate to get off this subject.
No, we can talk about 99 doctors talking about they think that there's like there's a top. So do you think there's a top-down order for people on the ground to go and fucking shoot people in the head or chest?
How about this? How about this? Do you concede that it was irresponsible for you to claim? Oh, it wasn't.
No.
So you're gonna
claim what?
You're gonna say what? that these doctors didn't say that it was deliberate. That they thought that their opinion was that the shooting of the children was deliberate.
The New York Times article I was talking about snipers, but let me find that.
In my video it goes over it. But anyway.
Yeah. So are you suggesting that I have never affirmed the idea that there might be like systematic war crimes taking place on the ground by the IDF?
No, that's a very broad statement. There might be systematic crimes going on the ground. No, I'm talking about You said that the doctors never gave the opinion that these kids were being deliberately shot on a daily basis.
Well, the New York Times article was
and it's
65
irresponsible
doctors,
for you to say that. It's irresponsible for you to say that.
Because I'm referring to the New York Times article, 65 doctors.
Okay, so then you
They talk about
lack
Oxfam.
knowledge. So then your coverage is lacking important information. And then you make argument because you were arguing against other people, calling them idiots, because you believed they were reading too much into this New York Times article by saying that the shooting of the children was deliberate. When those people that you were calling idiots and attacking actually had access to more information than you.
No, not really. These are the same fucking retards
who
think that who believe that it was all fucking snipers.
You don't know anything about the article.
No, these are the same people. Wait, but these are the same people who still think that the story from Perlmutter about snipers is credible. It's not.
What do you mean these are the same? Why are you deflecting? We're talking about deliberate shooting of children.
Oh, okay. So even okay. So apparently it's okay to be wrong about one thing but not the other. Okay, sure.
What other thing? I wasn't even listening to the other thing because I'm trying to keep on subject.
The people who said that
you told
the people who said that the Perlmutter story about snipers was credible and based on like some kind of like reasonable analysis,
firstly,
even though it wasn't.
Firstly, you're just claiming he's not credible.
Well, no.
Secondly,
what did he say then to prove that it was snipers? Apart from high velocity ammunition.
He was a part of the team of doctors, and firstly, you're the one who said snipers and marksmen are the same. Secondly,
that has nothing to do with Perlmutter's claim. That has nothing to do with Perlmutter's claim.
He was part of the 99 doctors. He was part of the 99 doctors, and
oh well, you're about to undermine those 99 doctors by saying Perlmutter is one of them. Then
instead of trying to pretend this is just about snipers, okay? You have to deal with the fact that you were the one saying these doctors never said that it was deliberate, and that there's no reason to believe that higher-ups would have known about it. And you were making all these excuses.
Yeah, because I was responding. So okay. Listen,
shooting
God, you're really
on a
like
daily basis,
have to go through the. Whoa, huge echo! Jesus Christ. Yeah, so. Just as well I have a good memory. The reason I was talking about that was because Hassan kept on saying, when I was responding to him, that he was going by a New York Times article. He was like, you should read the New York Times article. This shows that it was deliberate, even though I said, if you look at this New York Times article, they're not saying anything about snipers going out there to deliberately find kids and kill them. That's not what they were asserting. So I was just going with what I was given by the fucking critics. So Hassan actually was wrong about the New York Times article. Do you admit that? Because Hassan said the New York Times article proved that snipers were out there
no, that wasn't it. No. Firstly, there are accounts in the article about a toddler being sniped.
Yes, secondly, there's one, not about it being like the Israeli, not about it being the IDF ordering them to go and do it. You fucking idiot.
LonerBox, listen. Secondly, you were the one.
Do you acknowledge that I brought up the one instance that I mentioned as well?
Let me answer it. You were the one who brought up the New York Times article in your response video. You were the one who said, "I know what he's going off of. It's this New York Times article."
Well, he said, "Read the New York Times article."
You brought up the New York Times article.
Really? So Hassan never said New York Times article.
Why are you suggesting that the doctors did not say it was deliberate? Okay, so you're telling me your excuse is that you didn't read the open letter from the 99 doctors and that you didn't know the full story.
Hang on, I'm just going to get a clip here because I don't trust you. 1 second. New York Times.
This is in the video. You're responding
precisely
to Hassan
aim at the head of a child and pull the trigger hundreds of times.
I'm watching it.
Not that it would stop being a war.
No evidence for hundreds of kids being deliberately sniped. Nothing in the New York Times article saying as much either. Just so you know. My exact words are deliberately sniped. You're such a lying cunt, man. Holy shit. Or you're just sloppy. I don't know.
No, you were the one. No, your exact words were sniping and marksman is the same thing and they're interchangeable.
That doesn't contradict. That doesn't contradict anything I said. That doesn't contradict anything I said.
Deliberately sniped or deliberately shot with a different gun that a marksman would have. You're saying it's interchangeable.
Do you think snipers and marksmen are the only two people who wield guns in Gaza? What the fuck? Is that why you keep saying that? I don't understand.
What are you talking about, LonerBox? You're inventing arguments nobody is having.
I was wondering why you kept on saying that. Is that because you think that marksmen are the only people who wield weapons in Gaza?
No, you said no. You said sniping and marksman is the same thing.
Yes.
They're
Interchangeable. They're not the same thing. Yes.
Yeah. I don't give a shit, sniping or marksman. I don't care. I'm the one who doesn't care.
But you said I was
But you
arguing
said they were
that none of these
interchangeable,
doctors.
and then you went on a long rant about how Hassan or whoever is wrong for saying sniper, even though you were the one who said sniper initially, and you're the one who's saying sniper and marksman is interchangeable.
No evidence. So
I know it's convoluted because your response video made no goddamn sense, and that my whole response to you was about how incoherent your response was.
Do you disagree?
But now,
do you disagree? Do you disagree that I said there's no evidence for hundreds of kids being deliberately sniped? Nothing in the New York Times says as much. What's wrong with that sentence?
That there is evidence that children are being deliberately sniped or killed by a marksman.
When the claim is about what? When the claim is about a systematic pattern of them doing it, the New York Times mentions one instance.
Okay, so
and I mentioned the one instance. I mentioned the one instance.
What you're telling
Mark Perlmutter said that they were sending snipers out to kill kids.
What you're telling me, and this is what my video was about. This was the premise of my video, okay? That you did not know the context. You did not read the letter from the 99 doctors, or you just forgot it. You just memory hold it. Okay? So you did not know the broader context.
Is it this one here?
You did not know the broader context that these 99 doctors said that children were being deliberately targeted on a daily basis. So your language was all about dismissing. It could be accidental. Who knows if the higher ups know about it.
This is the 99 doctors article here, right?
I can't see the screen, but I assume you have it.
Yeah, I've seen this. This does ring a bell. Yeah, this rings a bell because it had the signatures in the bottom. And this is asserting what did I lack context on? That there were so many people who were shot in the head or chest that it must be deliberate and it must be top down, like orders, or just like allowed from the top down.
That it must be known to. There's no way it's unknown to the highest Israeli authorities.
Okay. Which part can I find that? Which part can I find that?
That is information. Wait, it's lower down. I don't, off the top of my head, know exactly where to scroll on the letter.
Oh.
But
well, we can find it. I'll give you a minute to find it because I want to see it just to be clear word for word. If that's
I don't have it on. I'm on my phone. I'm in my car. I don't have access to the article. You can find it. You can read it.
If I link it to you, you can't get it, or Control F for what? Deliberate.
And also if you deliberate, yeah. But if you can't find it in that letter, there may be more than one letter. So you
this is the 99 doctors article, but yeah, it says
there may be more than one 99 doctor letter. But if you hit Control F deliberate, probably you'll find it.
Okay, so they have a quote here from Mark Perlmutter. Is this like his? Is this his part of the letter? Because it's got a
no.
So this is his quote, and then it goes to what's this? Why is it? Okay, line break. Okay, so they have his quote here, and then they have the 99. This is like the collective letter.
I don't know what you're looking at. In the letter, there may be more than one letter. They state that there is no way for that pattern of children being shot in single gunshot wounds, head and chest, every day, sometimes multiple children for over a year, that could be possible if they weren't being deliberately targeted.
Yeah, so this is, I'll just make sure this is the same paragraph. Yeah, so the same paragraph here, again, this is Mark Perlmutter's, there's quotes up there, then underneath it, it says, children are universally considered innocents in armed conflict. However, every single signatory to this letter saw children in Gaza who suffered violence that must have been deliberately directed at them. Specifically, every one of us who worked in an emergency intensive care or surgical settings treated preteen children who were shot in the head or chest on a regular or even a daily basis. It is impossible that such widespread shooting of young children throughout Gaza, sustained over the course of an entire year, is accidental or unknown to the highest Israeli civilian and military authorities. Biden and Harris, we wish you could see the nightmares, plague, etc., like that whole bit there, right? Is that the right bit?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that if you were responsible in your coverage, or at least if you were more knowledgeable and responsible.
Hang on, I'm just looking for another bit here, if you don't mind. You're about to say that if I was, you're probably not going to say anything you haven't said already, so don't worry.
Yes, if your coverage was more responsible.
Let me watch something, please.
And also if you had more knowledge.
Let me watch something,
then
please.
you would not have.
Let me watch something, please. Have no civilians ever been killed out of malicious indifference? I didn't say that. No. Adam Panada knows that I've said that. because that clip that he used of me is deceptively chopped. This is from just after the bit that he cut off. Have no civilians ever been killed out of malicious indifference? I didn't say that. No. Individual soldiers and commanders, maybe even high up people, can commit war crimes as well. I think that's probably, if you want to make a critique of Israel's actions right now, the fact that IDF soldiers don't really get punished all that much for violating rules in terms of killing Palestinians, that would mean that it's people who do have ill intent can get away with it. That's a big problem. I don't think that reflects their policy, but it does reflect an issue of accountability. Okay. It's so funny that this clip is what came from the initial clip chimp to make it seem like I was saying that there aren't systemic war crimes happening because of a lack of accountability in the IDF without any punishment from people in the top. It's almost as if it's almost as if I knew this all along and said it right away, and then the fucking psychos that you watch videos of chopped it out. But you've seen this video. I guess you just ignored this bit where it's so fucking
what are you talking
stupid,
about,
man? Jesus Christ.
No, you
I can't remember I said it so bluntly. I literally said, yeah, if you want to make a critique of Israel's actions right now, is the fact that the IDF soldiers don't really get punished all that much for violating rules in terms of killing Palestinians. And that would mean it's people who do have ill intent can get away with it. That's a big problem. I don't think it necessarily reflects their policy, but it does reflect issues of accountability.
Yes. Yes, that's in my video.
But it being known, is them knowing and not caring is not the same as policy.
So I didn't clip chimp you. No. Firstly, yeah, it's policy if you're not going to punish people for shooting kids in the head every day. That's policy. If you have a policy of not punishing people to do it.
That's okay. Then all negligence is policy. Okay.
No. Policy would be policy is a concept, right?
Really?
If you decide within your policy to hold people accountable, soldiers accountable for shooting kids in the head every day.
God, imagine if
you don't hold the soldiers accountable, that's a matter of policy.
Okay.
Anyways,
it's a lack of policy and a lack of enforcement.
You did not acknowledge the 99 doctors.
Do you think these are? Do you think these, even though nothing they said, though nothing they said contradicted anything I had said months before this whole fucking video exchange happened, it didn't contradict anything. Like the policy discussion is literally okay. So do you think there's no meaningful? Do you think there's no value in separating? Say the military tells their soldiers from the top down, yes, I want our infantry soldiers on the ground to go out there and kill kids, versus there are enough people doing it on the ground, and the people on the top don't care to punish the soldiers who are doing it, even though they know it's happening. You think these two are are both policy? You think it's okay to just lump these both in and to not separate them? To say one is policy.
I think they're both reflective of what I would call policy.
Okay, so I don't care what you would call policy. When people, so maybe you don't know this.
No, because now you're getting into semantics. Now you're getting into semantics.
Historians do these debates all the fucking time. They argue about like, oh, was the Holodomor a policy, or was it a result of policy, or was it like policy to starve them, or was it policy that incidentally starved them? Yeah, they talk when they say policy in this situation, they talk about top-down government or military orders. That's what they talk about policy.
This is a semantic argument.
It's not a semantic argument. It's a meaningful argument.
The point is, the Israeli military is full of people talking about how they're going to go kill everyone in Gaza, kill Amalek, and a lot of them talk about openly killing children. And there is zero, talk about killing Amalek and killing children, and there is zero accountability for it. None. So I would call that policy. But you wouldn't. Okay, fine. So semantically,
because one.
What is the difference to the kids being shot every day?
Because one.
And why aren't you bringing up? Why aren't you bringing up the doctor saying that the sign is it's deliberate?
Because
it's deliberate. The pattern shows it's deliberate.
Because one. First of all, I have no idea how any doctor would be able to make that conclusion based on what they saw. Like,
you didn't. Apparently,
what
you
are you
didn't
talking
even remember
about?
the article.
Yeah, but now that I've read, I've literally just looked at it right now. This does ring a bell because this was also.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, hang on.
maybe sometimes you should recognize that other people know things you don't.
Yeah, like people who believed Mark Perlmutter just saying that they were all fucking hit by fucking snipers, even
Yes,
because he just said high velocity
casting
ammunition.
down on this doctor who served in Gaza. He knows nothing. He treats kids who get shot in the head.
I didn't say he knows nothing. I said that he basically embellished his claim, because you can see his Twitter. He's clearly politically motivated.
I definitely trust LonerBox in his amateur analysis over the doctors who treat people who are shot in the head.
Do you think someone who goes to the press and says, "I know these were snipers because it's high velocity ammunition"? You don't think that's amateur?
You're the one who said.
Oh, so you're just appealing to authority because you know that his argument is indefensible. Yeah, fuck you, man.
No,
it's
you're
fine.
the one.
You know it's indefensible.
You're the one who said.
You know it's indefensible.
No, you're the one who said sniper, marksman, it's interchangeable.
That has nothing to do with what I just said. How are you not listening to this? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Listen.
How do you not know there's a difference there?
Being sniped. He may be informal in his language, which you didn't have an issue with.
High velocity ammunition.
You know, there's also reports that kids are being shot with drones.
What does high velocity ammunition?
With drones.
What does high velocity ammunition mean?
Some people will say they're being sniped with drones.
Wait,
okay?
what does high velocity ammunition mean?
You're asking me?
Yes.
High velocity, it's self-evident. It's high velocity ammunition. It's a literal
Tell me something else about high velocity ammunition. That's not that it's high velocity ammunition.
I don't get what your question is. What does high velocity ammunition mean?
Yes,
ammunition
what does it mean?
Moving at a high velocity. What is your question?
You don't know.
Or better yet,
you don't even know what it means.
Why
are you fighting me on this claim about Perlmutter when you don't even know what I'm referring to? Why? Why don't you just ask? Humble yourself.
You asked me,
has it not occurred to you that there's someone in this call who has information that you do not possess?
Yes, I objectively did, because you said you didn't know about the letter from the 99 doctors, which was very important. It was a critical part of this discussion. Anyway.
Even though it doesn't contradict anything I've said so far, but okay.
Yeah, that you were trying to downplay whether it was deliberate.
About sniping. And then you're going to say, oh, you said sniping, marksman's interchangeable.
Yes, exactly. Nobody was having an argument about sniping. It's about the deliberate shooting of children.
Yeah, but do you think...
Okay,
do you think a sniper and a marksman is the only...
Wait.
Honestly, oh god, I think I'm actually in a fucking fever dream. I'm in a fucking fever dream right now.
Productive.
No, this is not productive. You're having a fucking fever dream. I don't know how you're not getting this. When I say sniping, yes, I'm saying sniping and marksman interchangeably.
Let's accomplish something.
I'm saying it interchangeably.
Let's accomplish something productive here. From now on, when you talk about kids being shot in Gaza, will you acknowledge that the consensus view from the doctors who serve in Gaza is that they are being deliberately shot?
What, for all of them? No.
Generally.
This is why I wrote this off. This is the same doctor toll that used the fucking Lancet report conjecture to say that it's likely the death toll went to 118,908.
We're not talking about the death toll.
Fucking
we're talking
horseshit.
about the pattern.
This is absolute horseshit, this article. Yeah, this is
99 doctors serving in Gaza every day, and they provided x-rays and photographs. So now you're doubling down. Now
how many x-rays and photographs did they provide?
I don't know the number.
Can you give it a ballpark?
No, I don't want to give it a fucking ballpark. They were there serving in Gaza.
I think I saw a handful in the New York Times.
They were treating the kids. Why are you casting doubt on this? Do you not realize?
I'm not casting doubt on people being shot. What I'm casting doubt on, I think it's a reasonable doubt. It's for doctors.
You're casting doubt that it was every. They're lying that it was every children were being shot every day.
When did I say they were lying about every day? You didn't let me finish my sentence.
About? Why are you so eager to call them liars?
When did I say they were lying?
You just said it was bullshit.
You can make a false assumption and not be lying. I'm not ascribing ill intent to them.
So you're making the right assumptions. You're not there. You have no experience serving as a doctor in a war zone. You're making all the right assumptions. The doctors who are seeing kids come in, gunshot wounds to the head and chest every single day for over a year, sometimes multiple kids. Okay, and they're saying
my position
this is highly unusual.
My position is that
highly unusual.
Yeah, lots of things about fighting Hamas according to their strategy is unusual. Yes, do you deny that?
No.
Hamas don't fight in a unique way?
Come on, no. I'm saying they said their opinion as doctors, which you're baselessly casting doubt on, and I don't understand why.
Why don't you let me tell you why? Why don't you let me tell you why?
Because you have a knee-jerk response.
Why don't you let me tell you why? Why don't you let me tell you why?
That's the bottom line.
Why don't you let me tell you why?
You have a knee-jerk response to whitewash Israel.
Yeah, great. Obviously I know your opinion. Why don't you just ask me why? Like, I don't know. I could tell you why.
Okay, give your defense.
Yeah, because a doctor sees someone who has a bullet wound in them. I don't know why you think a doctor in that situation can be able to determine, because of what they've seen on the hospital table, what was happening in the battlefield. I don't know how a doctor is supposed to tell when they see a kid with a bullet in their head whether that gunshot came as a result of an intentional execution, or if it came because of like reckless fire, or if it became as an accident. Because literally, like in Gaza, you've got bullets flying through walls all the time. I don't know how a doctor is supposed to determine if that gunshot came from a Hamas rifle, because Hamas are also fucking spraying and praying in Gaza. They film themselves doing it. So do you acknowledge that a doctor can't see that and just determine for a fact, like, the intent of the person who fired the shot, or the circumstance in which the shot was fired, or anything like that? Do you acknowledge that?
Okay. So I'm going to address this. Do not try to deflect. Do not try to back out of this, okay? You said they can't tell if Hamas is spraying and praying, shooting everywhere, right? They can't tell that, right? When you spray and pray, when you shoot everywhere, would that result in a consistent pattern every single day of single gunshot wounds to the head and chest?
If
these
you
kids
look
were being
at
hit by random spray everywhere, spray and pray,
so
would
maybe
the pattern that results from that be single gunshot wounds to the head and chest on a daily basis?
Maybe you haven't paid attention to what people like Perlmutter and these people were saying. Sometimes he said head and chest. Sometimes he said like in the chest and the arm, or in the chest and the leg, or sometimes he said there were 3 shots. Mark Perlmutter actually gave a big range of different circumstances, which actually does suggest that people might be shooting someone and a bullet might go through a wall, or someone might be running past a window and someone who's like covering can misidentify.
Give me a break. That's not what the letter said. That's not what the letter said.
I'm telling you what one of the doctors gave. I'm telling you what one of the doctors said.
So all 99 doctors lied. You're not just calling Mark Perlman a liar. They're all full of shit. 99. When the 99 doctors say they're seeing single gunshot wounds to the head and chest on a daily basis, they're lying. They're bullshitting.
I'm not saying they're lying or bullshitting. Again, even for the head and chest, usually if you get hit by a bullet once, you fall to the ground. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about the pattern is the kids keep coming in with single gunshot wounds to the head and chest. That does not indicate spraying and praying, spraying all over the place.
How do you?
That's the point. That's
sorry.
why they say
how do you
it
know
indicates deliberate killing.
How do you know it wouldn't? Because again, if people are firing through walls and
then
things
you
like
can
that,
get hit anywhere. When somebody's spraying everywhere, you can get hit anywhere.
You know, like the
Why would you keep seeing kids with single gunshot wounds to the head and chest?
Again, that's not what Perlmutter said, and it seems like this is being derived from Perlmutter's testimony.
Why
That's why his quote is there.
From the 99 doctors, you are calling all
the 99 doctors signed.
Bullshitters and
the
liars.
99 doctors signed a letter together. That doesn't mean that everyone is like fucking testifying to every single claim.
So they're idiots. The doctors are dumbasses. They served in Gaza all that time. Bunch of fucking morons. LonerBox has no expertise, didn't serve in Gaza, has no idea what he's talking about, but trust him. He knows better.
Yeah, again,
Baseless assumptions, writing off all these doctors, calling them bullshitters. Oh, maybe it was just spraying and praying, and
the problem is, I said it's one explanation, one potential explanation. Again,
that's
you're not
potential
acknowledging
explanation for single gunshot wounds to the head and chest on a daily basis.
It can be not. Again.
Why are you bending over backwards?
We don't know.
Why are you bending over backwards to call these doctors liars?